everybody. Welcome to the Altenew YouTube and Facebook live stream show. And thank you for tuning in to Amy's Inspiration Station on there. I'm so excited to have you today. Hello from New Zealand. Good morning from New Zealand. I hope you are doing well. Let me know in the chat where you are joining us from. And if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. Just let us know where that you have shared this and where you shared it to. And Han is behind the badge today. So huge shout out to Han. I hope she is doing well. And she will be drawing the winner at the end of our show. Hello, how are we doing today? I'm so excited that you guys are here. And I'm excited to be here too. I wanted to work with today with fresh dye inks because in October, in the release in October, what's that now, a week and a half ago, there was a new set of fresh dye inks released. And I know we get a lot of questions about them. So I wanted to compare our crisp dye inks versus our fresh dye inks and what the heck is going on. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions about the ink lines from Altenew, and I hopefully will be able to answer them for you. So I'm so excited that you guys are here. And again, Han is behind the badge. And I am excited that you guys are here today. All right, I see we got people from Chattanooga, and Sue is here, and Julie from Virginia, and Dawn. Oh, also Dawn, morning for you as well. And Pam, all the way out on the west part of our world. And so excited, and Nancy is here. Nancy, it is overcast. Nancy, I saw a rainbow today, though. It was a full arc rainbow. It's kind of exciting. I should have been inspired to do rainbows, but I am not doing a rainbow today. I'm kind of doing a little bit of other stuff. So again, if you share this live while we're live, you will be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And I am so excited. So like I said, I am doing some like fresh dye inks versus crisp dye inks. And that is what I am sharing today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get down because I got a little bit to do and I want to talk about these inks. And what I'd love for you to do is put some questions in the chat. What questions do you have about inks? Are you somebody, have you purchased all the inks? What the heck have you done? I would love to know. All right, so as you can see, all right, and let's see. So as you can see, I have a little bit of goodies today. And these are our fresh dye inks. And I have those here. And I also have some crisp dye inks. And I saw Charlene way up there. Hello, Charlene. I'm so excited that you were here, also from the West Coast. And Melly is here. Hope you are doing well. And I see Cece and Shiomara is here. Oh, thank you guys so much for sharing this. Yes, Wendy, that's what it is. It's kind of like, what am I doing with these inks? They look the same. I don't know what to do with them. Why are they different? What the heck is going on? So to prepare for today's live, I actually reached out to Jen and Tasneem, and just so I could like clarify what the heck is going on. Oh, Charlene, also raining for you too. Okay, that means it's also going to come my way, Charlene. You realize this. And Barb, I have to say, I have all the crisp dye inks. It took me a while. And of course, I had to get them in mini cubes because I don't have a very large craft room. And this was just really the easiest way for me to share them or to have them. And but all of the fresh dye inks I'm getting in the larger pads. And that's actually one of the things that we're talking about as well, was kind of the case of this, which was really neat. So the first thing I want to do, though, is I don't know if you're aware of this. In last episode of Amy's Inspiration Station, we talked about, kind of the depths of the Altenew website and what they are there. And one of the things that's in the depths is these. And Altenew actually has for you ink swatches. You can get them in colors. I don't like to do that because every, printer and every screen always does the colors very, very differently. But this one, I will always print out the blanks, and then I can use this in order to go ahead and swatch all my inks. And so, oh, everybody's doing great, Han. How are you doing? I am so excited to have you. We've already had people sharing our live while we're live and giving you a lot of love up there, Han. So I hope you are doing well. So you can see up here, it says crisp dye ink swatches, and that is for me my little cubes. So that's our original ink line. And then there is also, and you can see there's a lot here because this is all of them. So I think was it Barb who also has all of them along with me? Yes, Barb also. These are, there's 5 pages of this. And so these are all of our ink colors. You can see I haven't swatched them because I printed out a nice fresh set because I wanted to focus on the 3 colors that were just released. And they are working on creating the fresh dye ink color swatches. And so this is everything that's out in the fresh dye inks right now, except there should be one more page, which is the Amy Tan collection. Here it is. That's the Amy Tan collection. So I'm going to put that behind. And so I'm going to compare these with you. Now, these are all dye inks. So the fresh dye inks and the crisp dye inks are all dye inks. And we're going to talk about what the heck that is and why that's important for us to know. I'm also going to point out one thing. So on the top of your screen, you're going to see the crisp dye inks, and below is the fresh dye inks. And I will say, so this is the fresh dye inks. So these are the round ones, and these are the crisp dye inks. So you can see the colors are pretty close. And I will say that I have had my crisp dye inks. Oh my gosh, has it been 4 years? I think 4 years. And I have to tell you, I haven't re-inked them. Yeah, I have not re-inked them. And so they might seem a little bit different or a little bit off, but they are pretty close. So you can see the colors are relatively similar. Let me pull out Seashore so that way you can see those. So this is the crisp dye inks. This is the fresh dye inks. Again, very similar. You can see this Mountain Mist is a little bit brighter, and that's because this is brand new and I literally just opened it. And Wendy, you are right. They are juicy, juicy. And then the last one that just got released was Rock Collection, which is an awesome gray. And this is the crisp dye ink. This is the fresh dye ink. And so you can see, I'm just going to put those next to each other. So you can see how kind of juicy these are. And these are just a little bit lighter. And a little bit, that's me. And again, it's just a different formulation. So when I talked to Jen and Tasneem, that's what they told me. They said it's still a dye ink. It still does all the stuff that dye inks do. And that's what we're going to be playing around with today. But it's just a slight different formulation. And what they really wanted to try to do was to keep very, very close to that original color, because these are the colors that we know and love, right? These are the colors that we know and love. And Pam, I also store, oh, okay, that's good to know. Fresh dye inks would work better for me. I have some sets, but I struggle with them. Let me know what that struggle. So these are dye inks, Sue. And so because of that, these are felt pads. So let me just show you that. Let me not get this color because it's ridiculously dark. Let's pull rose quartz so you can see it. So this is a felt pad. This is not a foam pad. This is felt. I can feel the linen and you can see the texture maybe. And I'll pull my rose quartz. And I know I'm doing mini guys here, but it's the same. So you can see it. It's still linen. It's still felt. And these are very, very similar. All right, Nancy, I just saw one thing over there. Yes, I agree, Nancy. And I am with you. This is something that's going to take me time. And so Altenew knew that. And so they are slowly kind of phasing these out. So these are the ones that are being newly manufactured. And I kind of like how they're releasing them like little bits at a time instead of like, hey, this is everything. So I kind of appreciate that because this will take me time to build this set, but this is something that I use all the time. So that's why it's important to me. So as a dye ink, I can stamp with these. I can watercolor with these. I can blend with these. I have to say, I haven't noticed too much of a difference in terms of functionality. These are a little bit more viscous. So they're a little bit, when I blend, I feel like I'm getting a little bit better coverage with these than I do with the crisp. And Crystal, it's going to be coming out soon, there's a label for the side, but I will say the bottom also has a label on it. And so this way I know what the heck is going on. So my top and my bottom. So there's no mystery here. I have to say these were always a mystery until I got the labels because there really wasn't a place, but that's the minis, you know. I think the minis, and I have a set of minis. I knew Nancy said that she was getting minis in the fresh dye ink. So these are minis. of the Art Deco set. And you can tell, so I have to make sure I put a label, but at least these are different, a little different. So I know that, this is going to be dustic pink and it's not blue. So these I haven't freaked out about yet in terms of needing labels. These, when I dropped them before I had labels on them, of course, I always had that kind of freak out. I'm like, am I going to be able to put them together? So those are kind of some of my overviews of the fresh dye inks. So what I want to do today is we're actually going to watercolor with these, and we're also going to do some blending with them. So I'm doing 2 of these things with them. And if there's any questions, like I said, that you have about using these items, just let me know. And thank you so much, Susan, for sharing, and Joanne for sharing. And if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And we have the amazing Han behind the badge today, and she will be announcing that winner at the end of our broadcast. So just go ahead and stay on, and she will announce that winner. All right. So I have this stamp set. It is called Climbing Leaves. It is gorgeous. It's just this really beautiful, it's a massive, well, 6x6-ish. Just under 6x6 background stamp. And there's a die, a coordinating die that cuts it out. And I would recommend getting the die with this one because it actually will cut out all of those middles. So it's not just going to be this square or this rectangle, but it also is going to cut out all of these little pieces in the middle. Okay. Hey, Kathy, I hope you are doing well. And Miss Tamp, thank you so much for sharing this to Instagram. And you too can be like Miss Tamp. And if you share this and tell us where you shared it, you'll be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. All right, so I'm going to grab some watercolor paper because I said I'm going to do some watercoloring. And I'm also going to do some blending with this. So what I'm doing today is I am doing similar card designs because I'm going to be focusing on different of the inks. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on today. Use the Altenew layering stamps. Oh. You might, all right, I think I may have an answer for you if you're getting difficult coverage with the stamps. And Han already knows what I'm about to pull out. And I think it's because, oh my gosh, mine's all broken here. These come in a set of 3. Oh, here they are. These are the Altenew conditioning erasers. These are fabulous. And until I got these, and of course I was told by somebody to purchase these, but up until I got them, I was having a really hard time with all of my photopolymer stamps, and they would be blotchy and splotchy, and it just wasn't getting very good coverage on it. And so once you start using these, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, I really started to get some really nice coverage. All right, I apologize, a lot of noise here from me moving things. All right, so this is this big, huge, massive stamp. So I'm going to grab a piece of watercolor paper. So this is just already pre-cut for me. I like to do things in the craft room that are going to make my life a lot easier. And one of them is already having some pre-cut sheets. And Altenew actually came out with some new watercolor paper, but it's only available, I believe, on the Artistry by Altenew website, which is the sister company to Altenew. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this right here. And I'm only doing this because I want to add in another piece of paper because I'm going to be blending with this. So I don't care. I'm going to cut this down a little bit anyway, but I'm going to put this right over on the side. All right, and I'm going to grab the top of my stamp wheel. And is anybody signed up for Simon Hurley's and Altenew stamp wheel classes that are going to be happening in December, I believe? Different paper also a factor. You got it. And the Nina definitely helps. It really, really helps. All right. Oh my gosh, they work so well. It's one of those things that I'm like, there is no way that can make a difference. And to be honest, it really does make a difference. All right. I'm going to be heat embossing this with some rose gold. That's the name of my game. And this is because last week when I had a class, I was not using any embossing. So of course I have to change that up today and do quite a bit of embossing. All right, so all you do with your stamp conditioning eraser is you just come in and you just start to move this across the image. And obviously this is a massively large image. So this is going to take a while. These will wear down, which is why they come in a package of 3. And you can see I kind of have this little nib up here, but it's an eraser, so it comes down. This also will actually do erasing as well. So blotchy, yeah, yes, try these suckers. Oh, out of the stamp crevice, yes. I usually will take them. I try not to press down. I'm not like pressing down. I'm just really kind of like gently moving this across. And you can sometimes get little bits, and I just wipe those off. It's not going to affect anything. I'm just going to wipe those right off. All right, so I pre-treated this with my embossing bag, and I'm just going to come in with some embossing ink, and I am just going to go to town. And most likely I'm going to stamp this twice because I can't see what I'm doing. So bear with me, and I apologize in advance because you at home audience or in the car audience or wherever the heck you are at work audience, you guys are also not going to be able to see much. So bear with me. All will be revealed magically as we go on. Yes, that's it. The stamp wheel secrets revealed. I'm excited for that hand. I think that's going to be fabulous. And then there's also another retreat we're doing. It's a little mini retreat, and it is called the Pink Fresh Posy, something Posy retreat. And that one looks really great. That's a collaboration between Pink Fresh and Altenew. And so there's some new products that are just released for that. And that is another one to check out as well. So this is really big stamp. So I'm putting all my full force. Yes, as a white pencil eraser. Oh, good, Wendy. I'm so excited that you're going to be registered for that class. I think it's going to be so much fun. He's such a good teacher and so inspiring, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And the Party Posy, that's it. The Party Posy with Pink Fresh. That's another one that we have coming up, and that's exciting. I love Pink Fresh. Of course, they do a lot of flowers, love all this kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that twice. All right, I'm standing up for this one. Standing up, putting my full weight on it. Going to town. Okay, there we go. I think I got it all. Oh, thank you so much, Helena, for sharing this to Facebook. And you too can be like Helena, and you can be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. All right, so I'm just going to really quickly, I know you guys are looking at me like, is she really about to do this over her stamp wheel? Yes, she is. I like to live life by the edge, and I'm doing it, guys. I am doing it. See how I did? Oh, I did good. This stamp is really fabulous. Hopefully I got enough coverage. I can always do it again. That's why I kind of made sure I was in that one side where I was. And obviously this little edge was not super awesome, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that a little later. Okay. And I'm just going to come right on here. All right. And that's why I made sure to use, you also can use your alignment tools. I did not grab those today, but this does a nice job. It is such a big stamp, which is why it can be a little tricky. And I'm just making sure that that embossing powder really is covered everywhere where I want it to go. Okay, so I'm going to lay that aside for a second. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do my blending panel. I want to show you guys some blending with this. So I'm going to actually do the same stamp, but now I have regular paper. So this is not watercolor paper. This is just Nina paper. I'm going to stick it right in the side, the same size. I'm going to pre-treat this with my little embossing buddy. And like I said, I'm just doing kind of the same design because I'm going to focus on these inks. Oh, yeah, that's right, Pam. I'm so excited. She's such an amazing teacher. I love Erin. She is really so ridiculously talented. Okay. And this Climbing Leaves stamp, it just is so pretty. You can do this in greens. You could do this as a fall with some orange and yellows and reds. It's really, really gorgeous stamp. All right, one more time. All right, I'm just going to leave this And one more time. Okay, and here we go. All the way. All right, again, any questions you have about fresh dye inks, go ahead and throw those in the chat. I know these are new. We're just, I think they were released, their first set, I think, was released last December, and they're slowly rolling out. So all the colors, or most of the colors in the fresh dye, in the crisp dye ink line are going to be released in the fresh dye ink line. Not all of them, but most of them will be moving over. And a lot of that just has to do with manufacturer and are they able to get similar colorways and things like that. Okay, so let's see how we did here. I'm going to do one more little guy because I knew that this did not totally come out. Okay. All right, I think I might still have some patchiness. That's okay. All right, we're going to bring that out in just a second. And I do have a new rose gold because looks like my rose gold embossed. That one came out a little bit easier because, of course, it's regular paper and not watercolor paper. So it's stamped a little bit nicer, except for that one spot. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to go ahead and run them under my embossing gun. So let me clean this up. And I think we're just going to deal with patchiness. So I don't have time to go back through and do it. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, lost me for a little bit. I think it's because I was standing up and I was so focused on my stamping because the stamp is so big. Pink Fresh pressing tool. Wendy, I do need that. I need something, man. Okay. So I'm just going to heat this up. I realize that I am not using my tweezers, so of course I'm going to burn a little bit, but that's okay, right? Little sacrifice of my fingerprints and feeling in my fingertips, not a problem. It's a little bit different. It's still barb. The fresh ink is still a dyeing. It's a different formula, and it's a little bit more viscous. And I find it works really well. And I like, the one thing I really like about it, which I thought I wouldn't even care, but I really like the ink pads. Like I really like the screw tops. I like the fact that the top you can just take right off. It's not a problem. And I'll show you how easy that is. Like I sit there and sometimes I start fumbling with lids and I hate that. So it's all fine. I hate that. And then my lids pop off and I'm all over the place and it's like, oh God. All right, so that's my regular paper. This is my little watercolor paper section. All right, so there's my tweezers. So I have to tell you, after heat embossing as much as I do, I really don't have a lot of feeling in my thumb and my index finger. I don't know who else is out there with me, sacrificing for the cause. Right, Wendy? It's all for this. And the screw top lids, they are so much easier to deal with, to get on and off. Sometimes when I'm in like a frenzy of creativity, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I'm just not thinking, and I am going fast, because my brain is working sometimes faster than my hands can. And so the screw top lids have actually been really fabulous for that because I can get them on and off so fast. Okay, I'm going to stop there with that guy. He looks really good. All right, so again, this is the Climbing Leaves stamp set. So what I've done is I've stamped it. I've stamped it in regular paper, and I've also stamped it in watercolor paper. And so I'm going to, if you guys are okay with the fact that this is a little, I'm going to go ahead and just go with this. So we're just going to go with this distressed look. Okay, everybody, going with this distressed look. So I'm going to go ahead and run these two under my die cut machine. Move that paper. Oh my gosh, Sue, I love tweezers. Over the paper I drop. Oh, that's a good idea. I think I should definitely do that. I end up sometimes I end up mixing my own embossing powder because I have stuff left on the paper and I'm like, oh, this is exciting. I got new colors. Do you ever notice when you craft that sometimes your table starts to get smaller and smaller, even though technically the table doesn't change size at all? That's happening to me right now. All right, so I got this. Put that back. All right, so this die is really neat with the climbing leaves because, again, it cuts out all these little middle parts. And so it does take a second to line up. But remember that I put that over in the corner, so I didn't just kind of like do this in the middle. So let me put my bottom plate down. And I'm going to put this guy on top. And I'm going to grab my satin masking tape because this stuff is amazing. And let me show you how I'm going to do this here. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to start to move this around. And I can even take I'm just going to take the stamp because I think I used it like this. Definitely not. And I think because it's not a square and it's a rectangle, actually makes your life a little bit easier, if that's possible. And so this is it, guys. This is it, folks. This is it, I think. Yep, right there. All right, so now that I have my orientation, I'm just double checking that my orientation is correct. And I think, yep, this is it. There's methods to the madness, I promise, guys. Okay, and over here. All right, there we go. I think. This one does take a little fiddling. Oh, that's a great idea. For the zero waste foliage die. Oh, that's great. All right, that was not working out the way I thought it was. I had that like all set. And it just did not work out what I wanted it to do. My other recommendation would be to do this as a 6x6, and that way you can be like, oh yeah, I see it now. Okay, this is still up. I have to remember that I reversed it when I stamped it. So my brain is like, what? And of course, anything you do live, oh my gosh, I think I got it. Yes. Ah, got it. Anything you do live, of course, is 10 times harder. Okay. All right, I got it. Now, if you're like, I don't know what you got, I just saw you like fiddling around with this. So what I'm looking for is, can you see how there's like these white spaces? So these little separate parts, and I'll just show you here. Can you see how there's like a little space there and a little space there? So that's where this is going to cut out. These bars aren't going to cut out. That's just connecting these other pieces. So what I'm trying to do is line up these open spaces with the open parts of the stamp. And I'm just making sure everything's nicely lined up. Now I have it, and I'm just going to grab some tape and just kind of throw that on here. Make sure I got that. Put that right on here. All right, make sure you guys can see me as I'm looking over this. And this is kind of the tricky part, is just making sure it doesn't go on me. I have to make sure it's like in the spot, and it's going to go, and this is going to get quite a bit of tape to make sure everything's lined up. And once you kind of cut this out, it's actually really cool to take a look at. But it's a little nudgy, but it's totally worth it. This, again, is another sacrifice for the greater good of card making. So burnt fingertips and taking some time to line up extra pieces. Usually I have, like, but I'm using my mouth as a tool right now because I don't have a third hand. All right, so that's there. So that's not going to move. Shoving this in and rolling this out. And now I have this. or I have an idea of where this is, so I should be able, my second piece should work. Okay. Ooh. There we go, and all the way back. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Susan. Well, the problem is I have to make sure it goes along with the stamp. So I have to like mark the stamp and the die at the same time. And that's what you get. And it's so neat and cool that you have that all cut out and it's so see-through. So totally worth it, everybody. Totally worth it. Because you get this really cool pattern. And now I know where the heck I'm heading to. So I'm going to grab my second piece and I'm going to go ahead and run that through as well. I'm just trying to get all these little bits out of here to make sure that I have enough. And we're just going to roll it over on the side. We're not going to worry about it. Okay, so my second piece is right here. Now I kind of know where I'm heading to. So hopefully this is faster to line up. And I think it's going this way. Yep, I see you. I see it. Okay, so this time, because I knew kind of the orientation and the direction I'm heading into, it's a little bit easier to line up. And I'm doing this in the air because I'm just trying to show you guys. So I'm going to put this back down on my little thing here and just making sure that it's double lined up, just triple, quadruple checking, making sure everything's okay. And again, this is the watercolor paper. So I already cut it out of the paper I'm going to blend. So this is just my watercolor paper. So I'm just making sure this is all lined up. That looks good right there. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, we're good. Top plate on. And I'm going to run this through again. Hopefully it doesn't shift on me. Okay, there we go. And I'm running this through. Oh, the ink pad, Nicole, the labels should, I'm hoping before the end of the year. I am not privy to release dates and times, but I know that they are in production. And I know that they, in fact, if you watch some of the Altenew leadership team, if you follow them, if you happen to follow them on Instagram, she may have shown a little preview of that. So a little preview of that guy. All right, so I'm just going to pop the rest of these out, remove these guys, and that's the die. So this is the Climbing Leaves stamp and die. And again, this die is so neat because it does all those little pieces. And I'm just kind of taking a second to clean everything up. I'm so excited about these labels too, because I like things to be nice and organized. And if I don't see it, I don't use it. And so these ink pads, I know I've looked and seen how people have stored them, and they've stored them in some different ways. I have a drawer, and so I actually store them all flat in my drawer where I have them. So I know that there's a carousel, and Charlene's still on here. She did a nice video. You did a nice thing, Charlene, with storage of these ink pads. And so there's a, whatever's going to make it easiest for you. So that way you actually use them, because that's really the key, right? If we take our supplies and they're hidden away and we can't see them, then what's the point, right? What's the point? All right, kids, here's my next thing. Okay, so this is my watercolor paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick, I'm just going to do this little quick wash on this. So just getting all those little extra bits and bobs out of there that I don't want. Okay, so I'm going to grab my set of watercolor brushes. So this is the artist set of watercolor brushes. And I'm actually going to use this nice big flat brush. I got that here. And I have a little thing of water that's over on the side. Yes, aren't you right? Like Charlene, I'm with you. I need to see everything out. That's what I need to do, because if I don't see it, I don't use it. It kind of is out of sight and out of mind. Now, Altenew has two fabulous palettes. This is one of them. This is the large palette. And let me just show you, for contrast, the medium palette, which is somewhere on my desk. was getting ready for today and I pulled like a couple of extra things. And of course, the medium palette went bye-bye. So I guess we're not using that one. Okay, it's somewhere. All right. And the craft room gnomes are back. All right, so this guy is big. I love him for doing things with the full-size ink pads, and that's where I'm going to start with today, is I'm going to use him with the full-size ink pads. And I want to do a background because these are green, so I'm going to grab my Seashore inks. 2, 3, here he is. That's my other guy. And I'm just going to do a little kind of background on this. I'm going to start by wetting my paper, and I'm just going to grab these, and I'm just going to put them right onto my palette. So again, these are dye inks. I can watercolor with them. It's not a big deal. And you see how easy these work to twist right off. And you just get this really, really great color. So I'm just going to put that in. I don't even need that much. I was just showing you how kind of nice and juicy these are, but this was really great. Okay. And watercolor paper. All right, so I'm going to start up here. And all I'm going to do is just go ahead and get this wet. And I'm using the stamping mat behind me because this is silicone. This isn't going to bother anybody. Keeps my surface nice and neat. And I'm just going to go ahead and just add some of this. I'm also going to just do the back. This can handle it. And that's just, it's going to help me to let that piece of paper lie flat. All right, so I'm going to start off with just my lightest color. And just to put them all here for you. So we go Mountain Mist, Volcano Lake, Lagoon, and then Emerald. And that's my order of colors that I'm going to go in. So I picked that one up. That one's up here. And I'm just going to start adding this color in. So you see how nice and vibrant these colors are. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to go about a little over a quarter of the page down. Kind of close to a third because I want to get some blend on this. All right, now I'm going to move over and I'm going to pick up some Volcano Lake. And I'm just going to start where that ended. And I'm going to go again, third-ish of the way down. Just clean off my brush. And I'm just going to grab some Lagoon. And just go right down. And then I'm going to finish off with some Emerald. And Emerald is just this really gorgeous dark color. Gorgeous, right? Just beautiful. And it's just nice to see all of these colors. And this is a really fast, quick way to get some nice color on to your page. Now I'm going to go back up, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm just adding a little bit more water, and I want to make sure that there's no harsh lines between this. So I'm going to kind of work on my blending now, and I'm just trying to get some ink off of this because this is definitely emeraldy. All right, so I'm going to go back in with my Lagoon. And I'm just going to start moving that up a little bit. And that's going to help that blend to go. Get a little bit more water. Get a little bit off my brush. I'm coming in with some Volcano Lake. And now I'm just coming in and adding a little bit of color. And that Mountain Mist is very light. So I want to make sure that that color is still there. But I'm going to pull some of that Volcano Lake up. There we go. All right, so there's my page. Nice and easy. It's very, very easy to do. I like to use a little bit of water. It's going to dry. It's not a problem. But that's the way I'm getting that nice blend. So you can see that gradient that I have up there. So there's my little guy. I'm just going to leave him over to the side to dry. And then just clean this up. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some blending. These really are great for blending as well. So I'm going to grab my large tool. So here's my little space that's dry. And I'm going to grab my large blending tool and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to blend with them. So I'm going to start with the Mountain Mist again. Just pick up a lot of color. And I'm just going to come right in and just blend that in. And these blend like a dream. They're really easy to use. I feel like I don't need a ton of ink. And you can see one-handed application. All I'm doing is just unscrewing that back on, so I don't need two hands to deal with it. And that's what I meant about being able to do this really easily is I'm just going to go right in with that volcano lake. Being careful to make sure that my mountain mist is there. One-handed application, throw it right on. Grab some lagoon, grab some more ink, and going right in. All right, and then last, I'm going to throw some emerald in. And really super easy to do. So I'm getting this really nice blend, and I have both of them done. And so very, very similar looks, just one with blending and one using the water. And in fact, I'm going to come in and let me do just a little bit more lagoon. Just want to put those over here. But I do like kind of the one-handed, like off and on. I really appreciate that. And I'm just taking some ink off of my brush just to get that emerald off. Emerald is very dark. And I'm just trying to brush that on. And I'm just going to do a little bit of more emerald just to give me a little bit more because I just lost my gradient. So I'm going to do a little bit right here just to make this a little darker. Okay, there we go. When in doubt, add more ink. Okay, so now I have my background all set. And now I'm going to come in with my Bloom with Grace. And so I just want to, again, hold these up. So I'm letting this guy dry. He's almost dry. And so there's my two backgrounds. So just wanted to show that you can use these in two different ways. It's a really neat thing to do. All right, so there's my background. And now I'm going to come in with my Bloom with Grace. So Bloom with Grace is a really cute stamp set. And the reason why I picked this is because I really love both of these images. And the die cuts them both out, which is really cool. So I'm going to cut these out of, I think I'll do one. I'll do both of them. You know what? I'll do both of them out of watercolor paper. So I'm going to bring my stamp wheel back in. And these are just going to be my little accent guys. So let me grab my watercolor paper, which is here. Thank you so much. Yeah, these are really, I love the seashore colors. They're really beautiful, and they go so well with the rose petal set. And I'll show you when I use the rose petal set for these guys. This is what I'm going to do in the rose petal. You'll see where I'm kind of heading to. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit of tape, not to the stamps, to the dies. The die cut, and then I'm going to stamp these. All right, so I'm going to die cut these guys. And a little bit of tape here. So I'm just going to run these through my die cut machine, and then I'm just going to do some really quick kind of detail watercoloring with them. And that's what I wanted to show you today, is how nice you can use these. Okay. All right, so I'm bringing in my desk is getting a little bit smaller. The desk is getting a little bit smaller. Okay. All right, I'm just going to die cut these. I like to die cut and then stamp it because then I can make sure that I'm really getting good coverage on these. I was going to do these in rose gold, but I think I'm just going to do that in obsidian. So I can stamp these in obsidian, and by doing that, because obsidian is an oil-based ink, my ink is not going to fade or do anything crazy because it doesn't react. It doesn't react with water because it's oil. And oil and water don't mix. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to pop both of these out. Put these guys right in. And then I'm going to grab my stamps. And these are just going to line right up. And then I can make sure that I have the images exactly where I want them. Oh my gosh, Pam, isn't that large blending brush the best? I love it. And let me know again if you have any questions about the fresh dye inks versus the crisp dye inks. So any questions? Do you want to see me do something with the fresh dye inks versus the crisp dye inks? Let me know what you'd like to see. All right, so I'm just going to put these guys right in. And again, I tried to pick kind of some simple open images that would work with this. All right, so this is my Obsidian ink, and this is oil-based. You also could use permanent black ink. That works well with any medium. The permanent black is really fabulous, but like I said, the Obsidian is great. You also could clear emboss this. It's really, really simple to do. You can clear emboss it. I'm just going to paint with just the Obsidian. So I'm going to heat shock it just a little bit, but just to make sure it's dry. All right. And again, this is the Bloom with Grace stamp set, and it has some of the prettiest sentiments of any stamp set. It's a lot of like Bloom with Grace and Are You Okay? And kind of giving you that encouragement vibe. So if you are somebody who wants to send encouragement cards, I'd encourage you to check out this stamp set because it's really nice. Okay, so there we go. I will wipe these off. All right, so let me grab these two out of here. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. All right, so again, this is the Bloom with Grace stamp set. So I'm just going to heat these up for a bit because I have to tell you, sometimes like I end up smudging Obsidian like crazy. So I'm just double checking that it's dry. You can see I've already smudged it. I have to be careful with this ink. If there's a way to smudge it, I will do it. It does dry relatively quickly versus other inks, other black inks I've had in the past. But I just want to double check that this is definitely dry and I'm not smudging it. Probably could have heat embossed it. I cut first and then stamp, Wendy, because I want to make sure, so I'm not lining the dies up. So I get the most even edge around my image. So what happens, because every, die, it can't really cut right on the black line. And so you end up with this little edge. And I want to make sure that that edge is as even as possible. And for me, this is the way for me to get as even as possible all around that edge. Hey, Tracy, I hope you're doing well. We are working with fresh dye inks today. And we're talking about differences between fresh dye inks and crisp dye inks. And what we have done already is I have taken the Climbing Leaves stamp and die set, and I blended that with, I blended that using watercolors, and I blended that using just dye ink, with blending. So there's my blending and there's my watercolor panel. All right, so I'm going to pull in my rose petal set, which is here. And of course, I still have all my little green guys over here that I have on deck, but I'm going to grab these first. And I'm going to actually start out with some Cosmic Berry. Now, I don't want the whole thing because I don't need all of this ink. So I'm just going to tap that right along the side. So there is my Cosmic Berry. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of Puffy Heart. And I'm actually also going to grab a little bit of the Industrial Diamond. And this will make sense in a little bit why I'm grabbing that. All right, so I'm going to go back to my little set over here, and I'm just going to grab a round brush. That's a 4, that's too big. This is a 2. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this 2. And here's my water. And of course I have my little guy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the petals or the leaves in the pinks. And I'm just going to start by just giving them a little bit of a wash. So I'm just going to grab some pink, and I'm just putting this to dry paper because I want that kind of intense color. And when you see these two colors together, it's really pretty. So this color is really nice. So I'm pulling in whatever the heck I put down. I think this is Puffy Heart. Oh, you did. A few does. Yeah, it's nice to do this because this is the dye ink, right? So you can take this. I'm just going to get some water on my palette here just so I can start moving this around because I'm drying up a little bit. So I'm just going to add some water and just get these to be pink. So I'm just putting a little wash on this first, and then I'm going to come in and I'll add some differentiation in color. Show you how I get that. So these are getting a little bit lighter, need a little bit of color. And let me take a minute. If you guys are okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit because I'm realizing that I'm far away from you. So, and how are we doing, Han? Again, if you share this live, we have about 10 minutes left or so. While we're live, you'll be entered to win that $15 gift card. And Han is behind the badge today. And she will be announcing that winner at the end of our show. All right. Again, I'm just kind of putting a little bit of pink on here. And then I'm going to drop in some darker colors. And I just want to point out like how pretty this looks together. That pink, the rose petal, and the green are gorgeous. Gorgeous. If there's like a thing you should have, these two, the rose petal and the seashore, just look amazing together. All right, so I'm going to grab a little water because I'm going to reactivate this. And I think this is Cosmic Berry. I hope so. That might have been Cosmic Berry, but we'll figure it out as we go along. So, yeah, I think that was Cosmic Berry. So I'm just adding a little bit more color to these. Just dropping that little extra color in. And in order to darken it up, because I think I want these to be just a little bit darker, is I can grab some of this graphite or the industrial diamond and just pull that in with the pink. And that's going to give me a darker color. So when I come in at the base of these leaves, it's just going to give me just a little bit of darkness. And all I'm trying to do is just share. So like this one's kind of dark because it's behind. That's going to be brighter. This will be a little bit darker. And this over here. And this will come together relatively quickly. But you can see just that little bit of dark just kind of helps it go. Now, of course, all my colors are all mushed together, but that's all right. And I find these, again, because they have a lot of pigment to them, I find them really easy to work with. All right, there we go. Now I'm just going to drop in that little bit of extra color here. Now I don't have a brown out of these two, so I'm going to make my brown. And I'm going to use my color theory for that. So I'm just going to grab, I still have a little bit of pink here. And what I'm going to do, oh, that must be amazing. Don't they go together so well, Charlene? They're so gorgeous. I'm just going to grab a little bit of this, whatever heck color this one was. And I'm going to start moving it around with this stuff that I have over here. Just darken it up a little bit. And grab those pinks. And I'm just kind of mixing together. And this will eventually give me some sort of dark brown. Using a little bit more purpley right now. Using purple, or this is pink, and if I were to use that with its true opposite, which is a little bit more on the yellowy side, then I'm going to get a brown. It's a little bit, at least I got this kind of odd blue. Actually, this might be good with my water. Oh, that's nice. So here's my little water. Just add a little bit of brightness to it. And a little bit here. Just going to do the top of that. All right, and now I'm going to come in, and that did not make brown for me, but that's okay. Just kind of picking up some odd random stuff just to make it a little bit different. We're going to have a little stylistic, crazy looking flowers on this one, but that's okay. I'll take it. And I'm just coloring in that piece of the stem. Just coming around. And I'm just doing the sides of the little jar just to kind of give it a little bit of color to it. Not doing anything crazy. Okay, so there's my little guys. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take these, I'm going to add this to the card front. So let's grab a card front, and let me show you how I'm going to finish these off. So I'm just going to grab a card base, and this is just a top folding card base. And I'm just going to grab a piece. So let me just kind of put these guys over here to dry. And I'm going to start with my blending panel. So you can see I can use this way. I'm actually going to cut it down just slightly, just so I have a little bit of a white edge to it. So thanks, Tracy. I'm so glad you spent so much time watercoloring. I love watercoloring. It's something I don't always do, but I really do enjoy it. It's something that's a lot of fun. I don't always get my stuff out because I feel like I need, for me anyway, I need like a little bit of time. I need time to do it, you know? And this time I don't always get that time. Yep, I want to cut off this side. All right, so I'm just cutting this down to about 5 1/4 to 4 inches, just to give myself a little bit of an edge. And then I'm going to bring in, oh, I found my medium water palette. Here we go. Just to show you the size difference here. This is the big mama. You can see my ring light in there. And that's my little baby. And of course, I'm totally zoomed in because now it even looks larger than life. So let me zoom out a little bit. And there's this guy, and then there's the baby. So this is nice to have. I can still use all of this ink, but this is great when I travel. I bring this guy with me. All right, so I'm going to grab a piece of brushed rose cardstock. And I'm just going to grab a little section, and I'm going to make a little band with this that's on here. So I'm just going to cut this a little bit thinner. And I want it to be about, this is 1 1/4. All right, that's 1 1/4, and I'm going to do this right by 5 1/4. So that way it will go right to the edge. Actually, no, I want to do it by 5 1/2. Okay, so there's my little belly band. And so I'm just going to add this on here. Add in my rose gold, and that's actually, I think it's a little bit too wide, so I think I'm going to knock that down. And then here is my little bloom with grace. And these are so pretty because, again, you have that lovely color between them. And again, it comes together so quickly because of how these fresh dye inks just are really, really great to use. So fresh dye inks, I recommend them highly. I, too, am kind of like building my collection. The colors are going to be really similar to the crisp dye inks, but they are a little bit more viscous. They're juicy pads, but these are dye inks, so you can watercolor with them, you can blend with them, and you can stamp with them. And they're just absolutely fabulous. So I'll finish these cards and I'll post them up, but I wanted to go ahead and just say a huge thank you. So thank you so much for being here with me today and spending a little bit of time and letting Altenew craft your life. And I just want to say a massive, huge shout out to Han, who is behind the badge today. And she will be announcing that winner. If you were able to share this while we're alive, she'll be announcing that winner very, very shortly. So thank you so much for being here. And again, I'll post these cards a little bit later, but let us know. Please use the hashtag Altenew for when you share your products when you share your designs on social media, because we love to see what you do. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.